Abdullah, what did you make of it?
I'm happy with that performance. I felt like it was definitely one of our best performances this season. Overall, again, Marcus Rashford's form continues. It's quite clear that we're a much better side with Scott McTominay in there. I felt like the presence in that midfield, the dominance on the ball that he has, sometimes playing it simple. I know he might have lost it before the goal, but I think that was a lot. I think that was down to him receiving it in a bit of a sticky situation there. Don't think we should have passed him the ball in that area, and he almost had nothing to work with, so that's why he lost it. But overall, a massive shout out to McTominay, because the last two games prove how bad
he brings more out of Fred as well, doesn't he?
He does. I feel like they just work so well. They know when one of them has to go and press the midfielder, the attacker carrying the ball, or the midfielder, and the other has to sit back and sort of, see where the danger is. They just seem to figure out, where the danger is in midfield and deal with it. And they've done this well in the Champions League last season against Barca, against Paris. We've seen good performances from those two together in midfield. And it's just unfortunate that, you're not always going to have them fit. And the thing is with Ollie now, there's always going to be the Ollie out and Ollie in chat, but the man just doesn't have a midfield. We don't have a consistent starting team. We lost Herrera, which a lot of people weirdly just didn't rate at all, but he's ended up at PSG anyways, a Champions League side, and that are going to win the league. So, we definitely needed a replacement in wherever you thought of him, and I think in January we're going to have to spend, because those goals were coming from midfield that we've conceded. Even today, just Son driving past us with the ball, because we haven't got that right cover, we haven't got that defensive intelligence in the middle. Other than Scott McTominay, Fred, again, he's inconsistent today, absolutely class performance, but even if those two are 10 out of 10 every week, you need other players in there. You need more than two consistent midfielders. Paul Pogba, we know his situation, probably going to leave by the end of the season. But negatives aside, I think there is something to build with this team. Like the likes of Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial have been performing. Mason Greenwood today puts in a shift. Even though he didn't score a goal or didn't really shine on the ball, he did a lot off the ball and defended well from the front. And that's something Ollie really likes, that work ethic. Jesse Lingard today, for me,
it was better today. It was. I might have said a Jesse of old because I've seen him play better, but it was more like his usual self, wasn't it?
Yeah, I felt like in the first half he was like simplifying his game a bit, making sure he does the defensive bits, because when you're playing against the top teams in the Premier League, you've got to defend from the front, and he does that really well. And I think Andreas just sort of gets lost in some of these games. Like against the big sides, he's actually performed this season for me, Andreas. But when he's been playing in that holding midfield position, at that Sheffield game, my God, he was awful. He's not a holding midfielder. Like the man was playing as a winger at Valencia and at Granada, or wherever he played, and most of his career at United.
Even today he came on in a wider position, he gave the ball away straight away. It was like, it's frustrating.
He is a frustrating player, and that's again the lack of quality compared to the likes of City with De Bruyne and stuff. That ball that...
Or even look at these, like who they were bringing off the bench, and Dembele and all those kind of players.
And Eriksen comes on. If you look at that...
And Dembele and Eriksen start in our midfield.
Yeah, exactly.
If they were United players, McTominay and Fred are on the bench today.
The issue that I've got with our midfield is, like, you look at Andreas' ball against Villa, brilliant ball. De Bruyne does that five times a game minimum.
Herrera has the ability. It's not the ability, it's the consistency and the application. And sometimes he has so many brain farts.
That's true, it's the consistency, but also the setup around him. Isn't the fact that we didn't have another midfielder that day to play further back, didn't allow him to play in that half space to deliver those balls. But overall, today, Marcus Rashford, man, like...
Best game in the United shirt? I thought it was.
It's definitely up there. Like, he's just been so consistent, and what gets me with him is the fact that United are such an unsettled place right now as a club, and he's such a young lad. Mourinho said this thing earlier in the season about he's had 5 seasons of senior football. People need to stop looking at him as a kid, but you always improve. I think Ronaldo's best days come at 22, 23. That's when he really burst out, and you're like, wow, what a player. Now, we're not going to say he's going to be anything like him, but the numbers he's putting up are incredible, man. And like I said, imagine adding someone like Jadon Sancho on the side who can find him in the box. Daniel James is quality, but I think we need to add a bit more in this team to then get the best out of Rashford, because we've got a good setup, man. I don't want to see us not spending January and build around the likes of Marcus Rashford. I don't want to see us not build around these talented players, because we have got a decent crop of players. It's just about how much does Ed Woodward want this club to succeed. It all says it for me in the next 2 transfer windows, because if we don't spend, surely something's going to happen. Surely we're going to get sold, or whatever situation is going to happen, because again, there's something to build on, and I worry that we're not going to do anything with it.
Will come in. It's been a long time, Will. How you been and what did you make of that today? And how have you been feeling about Ollie's position before today?
It was very negatively based in terms of the fact that there's been a lot of people saying in, out, stuff like that.
How did you feel? Were you on the fence? Were you either way? Did you commit?
I was in. I'll give it to him because the way he was playing the players and stuff like that, I didn't think it was right, but it worked. I know it didn't work in terms of the results, but if you look at the way some players, like against Sheffield Wednesday,
Sheffield United.
Yeah, United even, when they played, was it Fred and McTominay?
Fred and Pereira.
Pereira. Them two like bounced off each other kind of, with like obviously McTominay not playing, but Pereira's just he's not a United player. I don't think.
You don't think Pereira's a United player?
No, he's like as we've seen today when he come on, he just gave the ball away and he weren't as firm as like the midfield was and every other like player and stuff.
How much time does Ollie get? Because it's clear he needs players, but will he get that time if he doesn't get the result?
I think he should. I think we should wait till January, see what happens, and then build from there. If it's not a good last 6 months to the campaign, then it's just unfortunately he's got to go or somewhere else in the club. But that's just how football is.
Man of the match?
Rashford.
Yeah?
Definitely.
Right, Zayan, how are you feeling after that?
I thought it was a good performance in the way that we played, and even though it wasn't one of our best performances, but it shows that we can perform against top sides because there's been a lot of...
But we've seen that before, Zayan, isn't that not a problem?
Yeah, I think coming into the game, we didn't have much hope on the past performances against Aston Villa and Sheffield United, but I thought the way that we played was good and the way that we kept on going, even though the going got tough, we still kept on going against a decent Spurs side.
Did you like seeing Mourinho out there today?
I thought...
Did he shake your hand or anything when he walked past you?
No.
No? No niceties?
No.
Enemies only today?
Well, I thought Mourinho would come back eventually to football because he's not that old, but I think he still had more to offer because the way that he left United wasn't the best way, and I think he'd want to end his career as a manager on a high. So, today he got it quite wrong, but Ole got it right today, trying to get the goals early because Spurs they can score goals, but they're weak at the back, and we exploited that.
So what are you saying? Ollie out Jose?
No, I thought no. I said.
He said Ollie out Jose.
No, I said Ole has good. Ole got it correct today. Ole got it right today, and he can. If we keep on playing like this, I think we can carry on.
Good.
Win the league, you mean?
You get to live another day, Zayan.
I don't know. It depends on who we sign in the summer because if we don't sign much, I think we can't just carry on and do well with this team because even though it's a good, strong, young side, there's only so many young players you can have, and we need a bit more experience as well.
Well, last time, man of the match?
I thought Marcus Rashford, he scored 2 good goals, and his work rate was really good as well.
Was that his best performance in the United shirt?
Probably up there because scored a brace, but he's had loads of good performances. And how many goals has he scored this season so far?
Bare goals, I think it's about 12 now, isn't it? 10, 11?
Yeah, so he's young and he's still improving, so...
What are you saying is the best striker in the world? Cheers, Aaron. Nice one.